Sometimes, in the quiet of your heart, when no one sees you and you're sitting alone, battling a storm inside, there comes a moment, a decision, a moment when you feel something so strong for someone, your heart is racing, your emotions are on fire, but you say to yourself, Ya Allah, I love them, but I love you more. And in that moment of restraint, of sincerity, of choosing to obey Allah over obeying your desire, the angels descend. Yes, angels. You might not see them, you might not feel them, but they are there, writing down a deed so pure that only Allah truly knows its value. When you hold back from falling into haram, even though your heart wants it, because you fear Allah, because you want to preserve your soul, because you want the barakah in your future, the angels are at your doorstep. They surround you, they witness your struggle, and in the heavens, your name is mentioned. Allah boasts about you to the angels, saying, look at my servant. They could have sinned, but they chose me instead. That is not a small moment. That is a moment of divine light, a moment that changes you. You become stronger, clearer, and more connected to Allah than ever before. Because you didn't just say, I love you, Ya Rab, you proved it. This is what so many people forget in the conversation about love and attraction. They think love is just about butterflies, about heartbeats, and glances, and text messages. But true love, the kind that is blessed by Allah, starts with sacrifice. You feel that connection, you feel drawn to someone, but instead of rushing into it, instead of crossing limits, you pause, you breathe, you say, if this is from you, Ya Allah, bring it to me in a way that pleases you. That dua is heavy, that patience is heavy, but the angels love it, and more importantly, Allah loves it. And when Allah loves you, everything else falls into place. Not always immediately, not always how you imagined, but better, always better. Do you know the kind of strength it takes to lower your gaze when someone catches your attention? Do you know the reward of not replying to a message that tempts you into a haram conversation? Do you realize what it means when you say no, even when every emotion inside you wants to say yes? Just because you remember Allah, that's not weakness, that's not boring, that's not outdated, that's courage, that's spiritual power, that's real iman in action. And in those moments, you are not alone. The angels are with you, they write down your patience, they witness your sincerity, and they become a barrier between you and the traps of shaitan. And when the time is right, when the person who's attracted to you truly loves you, for the sake of Allah, and you both wait, pray, involve the right people, take the proper steps, you'll see how beautiful love can be when it's protected. You'll feel the difference, because this kind of love doesn't leave you empty. It doesn't make you cry at night with guilt. It brings peace, it brings clarity, it brings nearness to Allah. There's a story in every believer's life when they stood at the edge of something haram. It might have been a private message, a flirtatious conversation, a physical temptation, but they pulled back, and in that moment, they might have felt weak, emotional, even confused. But that single decision becomes a mountain of reward. Remember what the Prophet ﷺ, whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace it with something better. That's not a maybe, that's a promise. If you give up the temporary pleasure of disobedience, because you want the eternal sweetness of Allah's pleasure, He will give you more than you could ever imagine. And when someone truly cares about you, they will help you guard your soul. They won't pressure you to compromise your values. They won't call you too strict or too serious when you want to keep things halal. Instead, they will admire you, they will be patient, they will make dua for you, not just plans with you. That kind of love doesn't just invite angels, it earns the love of Allah. You may not realize it, but there are angels making istighfar, seeking forgiveness for you right now, just because of your sincerity. Angels who pray for you, because you're struggling to obey Allah, while your heart is being pulled in another direction. That is not nothing, that is everything. And maybe, just maybe, one day when you meet the person Allah wrote for you, at the right time, in the right way, you will look back and smile. You'll remember how hard it was to hold back, how lonely it felt at times, how the world kept telling you to follow your heart, but you followed Allah instead. And when you're standing in front of that person, knowing that your love story was written with purity, patience and prayer, it will be worth it. Every tear, every delay, every no you said when you really wanted to say yes, all of it will be worth it, because you didn't just wait for a person, you waited for a love that angels witnessed. You waited for a beginning that pleased the most merciful. You waited for a bond, built not on desire, but on discipline. And that is the kind of love that lasts. That is the kind of love that gets you closer to Jannah. So the next time you're tested, when attraction comes knocking, when desire flares up, when shaitan whispers, it's just a message, it's just a meeting, pause. And remember, the angels are watching, they are at your doorstep. Don't let them write down regret. Let them write down something that will shine for you on the day when nothing else will, because you are not alone. Your patience is seen, your restraint is honored, and your love for Allah, above all, is the reason the angels stand by your side. It is so easy today to be fooled by appearances. The way someone looks, the way they carry themselves, the way they speak, it can all feel so magnetic. But true attraction, the kind that builds something meaningful and lasting, goes far beyond physical beauty. It goes beyond charm or charisma. In Islam, we are reminded that what matters most is not how a person looks on the outside, but who they are on the inside. And when someone is truly attracted to you, you will know it because they will love your soul before they love your body. The soul is where your sincerity lives. It is where your intentions are formed. It is where your love for Allah, your fear of disappointing Him, and your struggle to stay on the straight path all reside. The one who is genuinely interested in you will recognize that. They won't just comment on your looks. They'll ask about your prayer. They'll respect your modesty. They'll admire your efforts to live a life that pleases Allah. Because while beauty can turn heads, it is faith that turns hearts. When someone is truly drawn to you, they won't rush you into haram. They won't pressure you into sharing personal details. They won't try to cross lines that should be sacred. Instead, they'll be cautious with your heart, because they know your heart belongs to Allah first. They'll see you as a soul trying to reach Jannah, not just a body that looks good in this dunya, and that changes everything. Because when someone sees you in that light, they don't become a distraction, they become a support system. Attraction rooted in the soul is quiet, respectful, and deeply intentional. It isn't desperate, it isn't possessive, it doesn't try to own you, it tries to protect you. That person may say very little, they may not even express how they feel right away, but when the time is right, they will approach with clarity, with manners, with purpose. They won't approach you with empty compliments. They'll approach you with a desire to build something that is pure, something that invites the angels to witness, not shaitan. And it's not just about how they treat you when they're around you, it's about how they speak of you when you're not there. A person who truly values your soul will guard your reputation. They won't joke about you. They won't objectify you. They won't turn your name into a source of gossip. They will protect your dignity as if it were their own. That's the kind of attraction that reflects maturity. That's the kind of love that comes with responsibility. Someone who is truly attracted to your soul will never be casual with your feelings. They won't say I love you today and disappear tomorrow. They won't treat your emotions like a game. If they know they can't commit, they won't play with your heart. They won't use your kindness against you, because they see you as more than a moment. They see you as a future. They are drawn to your value, not your vulnerability. So many people are used to being noticed only for how they look. They are complimented on their appearance, their smile, their clothes, but rarely are they admired for their values. That's why when someone sees your soul and says, I respect the way you protect your modesty, or I admire how you speak the truth, even when it's hard, or I love how you're always trying to please Allah, those words hit differently. They touch you deeply, because they're real. They are not directed at the shell of who you are, they are directed at the essence of you. We live in a time where so much emphasis is placed on attraction that is temporary. People spend hours beautifying their appearance, but neglect the beauty of their character. They invest in clothing, but not in prayer. They chase compliments, but not connection with their Lord. But when someone comes along and sees through all of that, and is drawn to your struggle to stay sincere, that's a person worth noticing. This is how you can test the sincerity of someone's attraction. Do they help you remember Allah, or do they make you forget Him? Do they make you feel calm in your obedience, or do they make you feel guilty in your disobedience? Do they love you for your standards, or do they constantly test them? These are questions you must ask, because love should never feel like a war between your heart and your faith. True love brings them into harmony. A person who is sincerely drawn to your soul will not only accept your boundaries, they will be grateful for them. They will know that your limits are not a sign of coldness, but of commitment to something higher. They will not try to pull you away from your values. Instead, they will walk beside you, honoring the same limits, and working toward a future that Allah can bless. And even if you don't end up with that person, if the love was sincere, if it honored Allah, if it respected the soul over the body, then it was not wasted. You will have grown from it. You will have tasted what it means to be respected, not just desired. And that experience will shape you. It will prepare you for the kind of relationship that truly matters, the one that leads you both to Jannah. You deserve to be seen, not just for your features, but for your faith. You deserve to be loved, not just for your beauty, but for your bravery in holding on to your principles, and the right person will see that. They won't need you to expose yourself to find you attractive. They won't need you to flirt to feel a connection. They will be drawn to the quiet dignity of your worship, to the strength of your character, to the light in your heart that only those who carry light can recognize. So don't ever think your soul is invisible. It's not. It just takes the right eyes to see it. And when someone sees it and values it, you will know, because they will treat you not just as someone they want to be with, but as someone they are honored to walk toward Allah with. That is the sign of sincere attraction. That is the kind of love that angels witness, and that is the kind of bond that brings peace in this life and eternal joy in the next. There's a hidden world all around us, one that we often forget exists, a world where angels and shayateen are constantly present, observing our actions, whispering to our hearts, recording our deeds, and this unseen reality becomes especially active when emotions are involved, particularly in matters of attraction and love. When someone is drawn to you, when two hearts begin to gravitate toward each other, a powerful test begins, and in that moment, the direction you take, whether you invite angels to witness it, or shaitan to interfere, can shape your future, your peace, and even your akhirah. Love is not haram. Attraction is not haram. These feelings were created by Allah, but what you do with those feelings, that is where the test lies. Shaitan knows this. He doesn't need you to fall into major sin right away. All he needs is a little compromise, a glance that lingers, a message you respond to in secret, a late night chat under the illusion of just talking. He chips away at the barriers Allah asked you to protect, and when those barriers fall, the whispers grow stronger, until you're no longer in control. Shaitan thrives in secrecy. He feeds on privacy, on unspoken feelings, on hidden interactions. That's why the Prophet ﷺ warned us that when a man and a woman are alone together, shaitan is the third. It's not just about physical seclusion, it's about emotional privacy too. Conversations no one knows about, intentions that aren't declared, feelings that grow without boundaries. Shaitan doesn't care if it starts as innocent, he knows how it ends, if Allah is not kept at the center. But then, there's the opposite. When love is approached with sincerity, with respect, and with the intention to please Allah, something beautiful happens. The angels begin to witness your restraint, your patience, your dignity. When you hold yourself back from engaging in what could become haram, not because you don't care, but because you care too much, for Allah, for your soul, for the other person, that's when your actions are elevated. That's when your name is being recorded by angels, who are honored to write down your deeds. Think about the contrast. One relationship begins in secret, in private chats, in hidden intentions, in stolen moments. Another begins with dua, with consulting Allah, with honesty, with dignity, and with a plan to make it halal. One relationship is fueled by emotion, unchecked, and the other is guarded by taqwa. One invites shaitan to whisper, to manipulate, to drag both people down into regret. The other invites the angels to witness something pure, something noble, two hearts trying to do things right. This is not about being emotionless, it's about being wise, because when shaitan is present in a connection, peace disappears, clarity disappears. You begin to feel confusion, guilt, emotional highs, followed by emotional crashes. The relationship begins to feel heavy, like a secret you're always trying to manage. But when the angels are present, even the waiting feels peaceful, even the distance feels purposeful, even if there's no communication, the dua you make feels enough, because Allah is in control of the outcome, and your heart is anchored in Him. Ask yourself sincerely, if someone is attracted to you, and the first thing they do is keep it a secret, engage in flirting, try to have private conversations, are they inviting shaitan or the angels into that bond? Are they helping you stay close to Allah, or slowly pulling you away? If every step of that connection causes you to drift from your prayers, neglect your modesty, or engage in what displeases Allah, how can that love bring any real barakah? On the other hand, if someone likes you, and the first thing they do is make dua for you, protect your reputation, respect your space, and wait for the right time to approach in a halal way, then angels are witnessing that. If their attraction leads them to lower their gaze, instead of following it blindly, that is not weakness, that is strength, that is faith, that is someone who understands that love without obedience to Allah is just emotion, but love with obedience becomes ibadah. There's a reason why Marriages that begin with respect for Allah's limits have barakah. It's not a coincidence. When a relationship begins with secrecy, lies, guilt, and crossed boundaries, you carry that energy into the future. The trust is already broken. The purity is already lost. But when it begins with intention, prayer, patience, and the presence of angels, it becomes a foundation of strength. That doesn't mean the path is always easy, but it's clear, it's honest, it's built with Allah at the center. And yes, you may feel tempted, you may feel impatient, you may feel like you're missing out when you see others openly expressing their relationships, sharing posts, exchanging hearts and emojis. But remind yourself, those are just images. What matters is what is written in your book of deeds. The love that invites angels is silent, sacred, and strong. It doesn't need to be broadcast. It is between you and Allah, and that's where its power lies. Every time you choose to wait instead of rush, to pray instead of flirt, to respect instead of pursue selfishly, you are choosing angels over shaitan. You are choosing barakah over excitement. You are choosing long-term blessings over short-term emotion. And that choice is not always easy, but it is always worth it. So the next time your heart leans towards someone, ask yourself, am I inviting angels to witness this, or giving shaitan a place in my story? That one question will guide your next move. Because if something is truly meant for you, it will come to you in a way that brings peace, not guilt. And peace is only found when the angels are present and shaitan is kept far away. Let your love story be one that is pure enough to be written in the books of angels. Let your heart be clean enough that the one who is meant for you finds light in you, not just longing. And remember, the angels are always near, at every doorstep, at every test, at every moment of silence, when you choose Allah over impulse. And that choice, that sincerity, is the beginning of everything beautiful. Sometimes the most powerful sign that someone's attraction toward you is genuine and blessed is not in what they say, but in how they guide you, not in the compliments they give, not in the attention they show, but in whether their presence in your life brings you closer to Allah or further away. The one who truly values you will never lead you to sin, they will lead you to Salah. In a world that normalizes disobedience, where love is confused with lust and freedom is mistaken for faithlessness, it becomes rare to find someone who doesn't just love you, but loves what brings you closer to your Creator. That kind of love is not just emotional, it's spiritual. It's not just attraction, it's a manner, a trust. The one who sees you as a soul first and a person second will honor your deen, because they know that without faith, love becomes empty, it becomes dangerous. When someone is truly attracted to you in a sincere and honorable way, they won't distract you from your salah. In fact, they will remind you. They won't say, talk to me a few more minutes, knowing your prayer is due. They won't say, let's just chat late at night, ignoring the fact that those are the hours for qiyam, for making dua, for crying to Allah. They'll say, did you pray? Or may Allah keep you strong. Or don't forget to make dua for me too. The one who leads you to salah is not being boring. They're not lacking romance. In fact, they are showing you the truest form of love, because they are more concerned about the condition of your heart than the excitement of the moment. They are more interested in your soul reaching Jannah than your body being with them temporarily in this world. When a person reminds you of salah, they're telling you, I want you to be close to Allah, because I know that when you are close to Him, you will be the best version of yourself. They're saying, I don't want to be the reason you sin, I want to be the reason you grow. That is real attraction. That is sincere love. It is love wrapped in taqwa. It is love that protects rather than consumes. Think about the people who claim to love you. Do they remind you of Allah? Do they increase your remembrance of Him? Or do they pull your mind into distractions, into secret conversations, into late night talks that end in guilt? If someone is leading you away from salah, away from Quran, away from modesty, then no matter how much they claim to love you, it is not love, it is desire, dressed as emotion. The people who bring angels to your life are those who honor your worship. They remind you of Fajr, not just good morning messages. They remind you of Tahajjud, not just staying up talking. They don't need to know your favorite song. They ask what surah calms your heart. They don't need to hear your voice all day. They want to hear that you're making dua. They might not say, I love you 1,000 times, but they'll say, may Allah give you what's best. And that is deeper than any compliment. That is a prayer written in heaven. Don't underestimate the power of having someone in your life who prioritizes your akhirah. You may find many people who will make you laugh, who will show you affection, who will admire your looks,
But how many of them will stop you and say, let's not do this if it's haram? How many will say, I'll wait until it's halal? How many will say, let's ask Allah to guide us? That kind of person is not weak, they are strong. It takes strength to hold back. It takes courage to walk the path of obedience when emotions are overwhelming. But Allah sees that effort. The angels witness it, and the reward is not only in this life, it's in the next. And you must also ask yourself, when you are drawn to someone, do you help them become a better Muslim, or do you make it harder for them to stay on the path? Do you lower your own standards to hold onto their attention, or do you raise both of you through patience and boundaries? Love that leads to sin is not love, it's a distraction. But love that leads to salah is a mercy. It might not be loud, it might not be flashy, but it's real, it's steady, it brings peace, and that peace is a sign of barakah. Because when Allah is in the center of your relationship, even before it becomes official, even before nikah, there is light, there is clarity, there is protection, and maybe you won't end up with that person. Maybe life takes you on different paths. But if the bond was rooted in Allah, if it led you closer to Him, then it was not a loss, it was a gift. Because any love that increases your remembrance of Allah was sent to you for a reason. It was there to remind you that the greatest love story is the one where Allah is your first love, and everyone else fits into that story only if He wills. So remember this, the one who leads you to salah is the one worth considering, the one who lowers their gaze, who controls their words, who makes dua in silence and respects your space, is the one you don't ignore, because they're not just attracted to your image, they're attracted to your iman. They want what's best for your dunya, yes, but more importantly, for your akhirah. And that kind of attraction is rare. It's not trending, it's not on display, but it's deeply felt, and Allah sees it, He rewards it, and He blesses those who wait for His timing, who choose obedience over impulse, who say no to haram because they're saying yes to Him. Let that be your standard. Let that be your standard. Let that be your goal, and let your heart remain in the hands of the one who created it. Because when Allah sends someone who leads you to salah, He's not just sending you a person, He's sending you a path to Him. And that, my dear soul, is a love worth waiting for.